Hey guys, how we all doing today? So today I wanted to react to this Wrestlelamia video. I watched about 3 minutes of it and I had a lot of differing opinions to what was being put out in this video. So I thought, let me pause it, let me react to the rest of it on camera. You guys can give me your thoughts on it and we can go from there. Okay, I won't take too long to jump into this. I know that I don't want this to come off the wrong way, but I feel like the IWC sometimes completely misses in terms of what is on the internet and the reality of the situation. But like I said, you guys give me your opinions on this. Gonna speak honestly. I know some people don't like it, but it is what it is.
Are fans losing faith in WWE? Over the past week or so, the landscape in WWE has dramatically changed. From a negatively received Royal Rumble to WWE releasing a plethora of names, fans are starting to question the direction WWE are going in as a company. And this is unprecedented when it comes to the Triple H era. So what
I do think he should point out that it's the internet wrestling community, which we're going to get into a little bit as this video goes on, but there seems to be very differing opinions as to when you look online and then when you actually watch a show.
exactly is going wrong? Are the fans truly losing faith in WWE's booking? The Royal Rumble disaster. The 2025 Royal Rumble didn't go the way WWE intended. WWE decided to book Jey Uso to win the men's matchup, and this was a decision that received widespread criticism. Fans jumped to social media to share their disdain over the booking, and the YouTube dislikes spoke for themselves.
The fans didn't like it online initially, and even when I saw it, I was a bit like, damn, Jay, really? But now that I sit and I think about it, and I look back on history and how we've reacted very viscerally to things, and then over time we're like, that was the right decision, man. They deserved it. This is a decision that I think was actually good. I actually am on the side of them putting Jey Uso over. John Cena can get to the mountaintop again in another way. The Royal Rumble should be used to put over stars that are either building themselves up or, you know, they're still maybe in their prime and you can capitalize on it. John Cena has done absolutely everything there is for John Cena to do. There's nothing left. Now, well, I say that the 17th World Championship, that is the only thing left for him to do. But he doesn't need to do it by way of taking the spot of somebody in the Royal Rumble, which is a criticism that I think is fair to give to Charlotte. Charlotte has done everything that a woman would need to do in the WWE, and now she's won the Royal Rumble twice, the only woman to do it. That spot should have gone to somebody else. So this is definitely an internet opinion, because when you see Jey Uso come out on Monday Night Raw, people go mad for him. And look, I like Jey Uso, but he does have a lot to do in the ring in terms of winning me over as a top tier wrestler. But the personality of Jey Uso and the leaps and bounds that he's made from when he was just somebody that you couldn't really differentiate from his twin to what he is now is insane. That you can't misrepresent that. Does he have work to do? Of course. But you got to give the man a chance. And I think making him win the Royal Rumble and letting him headline WrestleMania, I think it's a step in the right direction. I know that Jey loves wrestling. He's going to do his best. He's going to work his best. Yes, his match with his brother at WrestleMania was atrocious. And this is coming from someone that thinks that the Usos are is the best tag team that we've had in ages. But they just didn't gel as singles competitors or rivals. But I think this was the right decision. And judging by fan reactions when he comes out, it seems like they also feel that way as well.
Ultimately, this negative reaction didn't extend to the live crowds, as Jey had remained insanely over, but fans are still questioning if Jey wrestling for the world title at WrestleMania 41 is the right call. When it comes to Charlotte Flair, her win has been a total train wreck. Flair would win the match, and similarly to Jey, fans let their voices be heard by disliking official YouTube videos relating to a win.
You know, her one is even more heavily disliked. You saw that 6,000 to like 26,000, I think it said. Now, the problem with Charlotte is that, yes, she is a top tier athlete, but I've never really gelled with her personality. Like, Charlotte's character doesn't work for me. She doesn't have her father's charisma, although she has the wrestling ability. When she came back, she was given the pyro, she got given the Royal Rumble win, which could have gone to somebody else. And then they tried to sort of make her sympathetic, or at least Triple H said go out there and speak from the heart. But the problem is that you win 14 World Championships, you come back and on your first night you win the Royal Rumble, a prestigious event. If people are going to boo you for that. And they should have known better. They should have just gone with her being a heel from the get-go. Being a heel is the only saving grace for her. I'm still not interested in what they're selling, but I'm willing to have my mind changed. But Jey has not been injured once since his run. He has been at the forefront of like the main event scene, performing well, even in matches that are not just surrounding the bloodline. He wrestled the most matches in 2024, if I'm not mistaken. It was between him and Cody Rhodes. I feel like Jey worked for it and he earned it. and he's super over. Charlotte's not over. She didn't earn it in this instance. You could use her career as like a way to make that argument, but we're talking about in the moment. The Royal Rumble is a lead up, and it's meant to solidify everything somebody has done in the year going, or at least go somewhere for them. Using Charlotte as the Royal Rumble winner just to have her go over at WrestleMania to then build a storyline about who gets to take Charlotte out, I'm just not there for it. I'm not there for it. I don't think it's necessary. I don't think the fans are going to like it. And they responded in the arenas, unlike Jay.
Hell, even a press conference got bombed with dislikes. But unlike Jay, the fan resentment towards the booking move carried over to television, as during a supposedly babyface promo on Raw, Flair was heavily booed. What Flair's win shows is a total disconnect between WWE Creative and the fans. WWE Creative assumed that Flair returning and being the same brash, arrogant character would translate well and make fans finally root for her. Whilst Flair did return from an injury, she returned and instantly won the Royal Rumble. Where was the adversity? Where's the character struggle that's been so present with top babyfaces such as Cody Rhodes and LA Knight?
Exactly.
Now, it was reported this week that WWE may be switching up the planned Flair versus Tiffany Stratton matchup at WrestleMania 41. And whilst these initial plans were to see Flair enter the match as the heroic babyface, this has now changed.
Good. They need to listen. That you need to do something, because if you have her going into WrestleMania all shits and giggles, smiling at everyone, people are going to get pissed. Have her be as despicable and diabolical as possible, and then at least I can be like, okay, do you know what? She's being a Flair. I can get behind that. If you have her coming out smiling at people, it's not gonna work for me. Just lean all the way into the heel character, and we might be able to salvage this. I think it's gonna be a tough sell. I'll be real. I think it'll be a tough sell, but I think they can salvage this if they do that.
And Flair will walk into the show as a heel. Now, this is the right move for WWE to make, but this is something that could have been avoided if WWE just presented Flair as a heel from the moment she returned. The releases. The resentment towards WWE following the Royal Rumble continued, as it would announce a range of names that had been released from the company.
Why are people resenting this? Everyone that was released, I didn't hear any crowd reactions for them. I didn't really hear anybody make any noise for them on social media, and I'm very much tuned in to the IWC. I know what's going on online, and we can also see in the arenas. What are people piping up for? I have nothing against these people. Obviously, I want these wrestlers to be in work. Being a wrestler is a tough job. You know, I have friends that are wrestlers. Like, I understand what they go through. And to a degree, obviously, I'm not a wrestler myself, but I don't want them to not be employed. But at the end of the day, if, you know, you're running a business and there's people in there that, I don't want to say are not pulling their weight, but at least not getting the reaction that you're looking for, maybe not selling merch, maybe not putting on matches that you're necessarily excited for. Business is going to business. Like, it's people that are outraged at the WWE for doing things that make sense. I mean, all of the people that I saw that were put on the list make sense. Now, how they handle it, I don't know. Like, if they just dropped a bombshell on them, they woke up one morning saying, yeah, you're out. That's kind of fucked up. I don't think they should do that. There should be some notice period. They should have let them know 3 months ago, hey, we're not renewing you. This is your 3 months notice. Go out there, do your best, and we'll keep it moving. If it was a bombshell they dropped on them, that's messed up. But in terms of who they've released, if you were running a business, you probably would have released them as well. Again, I don't mean that to sound harsh. I hope they go on to get work elsewhere, but they weren't getting the reaction from the WWE crowd.
These names range from the Good Brothers to Blair Davenport. Whilst hardly any of these names were used on television, cutting talent when the company is firing on all cylinders isn't great for morale. Especially after it was reported by Dr. Chris Featherstone that talent were caught off guard from the recent string of releases.
Okay, that's messed up. You're just catching people off guard. That's messed up. There should be some notice period. I'm sure Triple H and his people don't wake up and go, right, today we're dropping releases. I'm sure that this would have been planned. They should have told them. I don't know the inner workings of WWE and the wrestling industry as a whole and how contracts are dealt with, but that is just messed up because that's their livelihood. You should at least let them know.
Especially since most of them were recently on television or scheduled to receive more exposure. WWE going from actively bragging about attendance records and gate revenue to releasing a bunch of wrestlers is an odd juxtaposition, and one that just doesn't paint WWE in the best light.
Well, I don't understand. What's that got to do with it? Yeah, they're selling out because they're putting the talent on TV that people want to see. And obviously there's going to be talent backstage that people are not necessarily tuning in for. and maybe they're not, the WWE doesn't feel like they're getting their worth out of them. Again, that's not a knock on the talent. I want these people to have jobs. They bust their ass to entertain people. I think that they should be able to provide for their families, and so they should have been given notice. And the way they handle it, I'm not on board with that. But I don't think this is a weird juxtaposition. This is just how businesses are run. The best talent are being put on TV. That's why things are selling out. That's why I'm tuning in every week now. I'm there, locked in. Friday night SmackDown, Monday Night Raw. But at the end of the day, if you're just sitting backstage, and a lot of the names that were on there, I was like, yeah, okay, kind of makes sense. I don't know what fans, you always get this whenever there are like loads of releases and there's names in there that I don't see anyone cheering for, anyone singing the praises of. There may be like fan clubs here and there, but we're talking generally. All of a sudden people come out the woodworks, oh, look at this is really messed up, this is what they did, X, Y, and Z. And yet you're not buying their merch, you're not supporting them, you're not really cheering when they come out, you're not even booing them, they're not even getting a reaction, and then everyone wants to pipe up on Twitter.
WWE would also release a talent whilst they were injured, as Carl Anderson is on the injured list. And despite this, WWE made the rare move to release him from his contract. This is something that WWE quite rightly should avoid, but the policy is now gone out of the window. In relation to why these names were released, it was reported that WWE was going to shake up the roster and move people up from NXT. Whilst it sounds great on paper, annihilating the roster of an already struggling NXT brand isn't the smartest move in the world. The NXT creative team has been notably having a difficult task in finding names for the top of the men's division, and they're even using Austin Theory and Grayson Waller. Since SmackDown is officially a 3-hour product, and releasing names whilst the 3-hour format is already stale is just confusing and bewildering.
Stale? I don't know, maybe it's just me, I've been loving what's going on. I thought that they've been doing a fantastic job. Do I think SmackDown needs to be 3 hours? No, I think Raw hit the sweet spot. 2 hours and 20 minutes, 2 hours and a half, I think that's enough. The extra 30 minutes does make it drag. I wouldn't even be mad at 2 hours because you can jam pack it with action. And the extra 20 minutes, I'll be honest with you, there's some matches that I do skip over. I'm not necessarily interested in what the wrestlers are selling yet, but that obviously changes the more people win me over. 3 hours is a bit much. However, I don't think the shows have been bad. And I don't think NXT's been bad either. I really enjoyed NXT. Maybe that's just me. Or maybe that's the internet side and maybe the crowd reactions are different. But whenever I watch NXT, people look pretty hype. I mean, I just saw just now Ricky Starks has joined NXT. Crazy reaction. I saw Fandango come back. So, I don't know. Maybe there seems like there's a bit of a disconnect here.
Wouldn't it make more sense to use some of the names such as Cedric Alexander and Isla Dawn for roles on the Blue brand? In relation to Dawn, she was literally one half of the women's tag team champions last summer, and now she's unemployed, despite WWE having hardly any teams within the women's division. It just doesn't add up, and fans are demanding answers.
Well, I mean, like, the logical assumption is that they do have talent lined up that they're going to be bringing up. That they feel like, you know, because there's people that I'm sure they're always recruiting. There's always recruiters out there. There's NXT. There's that new show they've got coming up that's like Tough Enough. I'm sure they've got plans. I mean, WWE's not stupid. They've made dumb decisions before and they've paid for them. But if you're releasing loads of talent, but you've got loads of airtime, I've got to assume you've got something in the works, or you're going to be filling that time with something. There's not going to be nothing there. So I don't really need them to answer it. It will be answered on TV, because if we're on TV and there's a lot of nothing going on, we're going to be like, well, you just released a bunch of talent, WWE, so maybe in hindsight that wasn't a good move. But at the same time, there's a lot of names in there that I'm just like, I would skip over the matches. I'm just not sold on them yet, and that's not necessarily their fault. Maybe the way they were booked wasn't great, but you know, I don't think the releases are, I don't want to say unfair, it sucks when you lose your job, but they kind of make sense based on who they were showing.
Talking of WrestleMania 41, now we're under 10 weeks away from the biggest show of the year, and as things stand, things are looking a bit bleak. A few months ago, it seemed like a given that names such as The Rock would be featured on the show, and it also appeared that the top matches would include John Cena vs Gunther and potentially CM Punk vs Seth Rollins. WWE have since decided to rip this WrestleMania card to pieces, and the only match that is currently destined for the show is Gunther vs Jey Uso, a match that was featured on Saturday night's main event just 3 weeks ago. One of the names that fans wanted to see featured at Mania was Io Sky. Sky was a fan favorite to win the Women's Rumble, and when WWE decided to go with Flair as the winner, there was a hope that WWE would have Sky win the Elimination Chamber match. Currently, Sky isn't in the chamber match, and this has led to a lot of upset from fans. This past weekend, Sky was trending on X, and this was because fans were sharing how disgruntled they were with her presentation.
Yeah, I do have to admit with the fans there, I have to agree with them. The way they've treated Io Sky, it feels like there's a payoff coming. It feels like they understand that people want to see Io as the world champion because they keep on featuring her in segments where they're teasing her and Rhea. But just this Monday Night Raw, they said that she's gonna face her on Monday Night Raw after the Elimination Chamber. Now, one thing that I will criticize about Triple H's his version of WWE is that this seems a bit out of pocket because it's also a good thing. But they have very long title reigns, right? But it's been like that for almost everyone. The only person that I can remember, or the only title that I can remember getting passed around a little bit, was the Intercontinental Championship. But other than that, the title reigns tend to be very long. There's no surprise. That's a criticism of Saturday Night Main Event, right? Saturday Night Main Event is like a glorified Monday Night Raw. You want to tune in and be surprised at what you're going to see, but there's no surprises because everyone keeps their titles for a very long time. If they want to surprise people, have Rhea Ripley lose to Io Sky on Monday Night Raw, people are going to be like, what the fuck just happened? That would be a what the fuck moment. Her not being in the Elimination Chamber, her not winning the Royal Rumble, and then having the match on Monday Night Raw, it feels very, par for the course. And Rhea Ripley's going to be world champion again. She's probably going to be WWE champion again. She will probably win the Royal Rumble at some point. She's one of those stars that is super, super over. But Io Sky is as well. And Io Sky, for my money, is the best women's wrestler currently. Agree or disagree, that's up to you. I've watched Io Sky even before she came to the WWE. She's absolutely fantastic. Genuinely, I don't skip over Io Sky matches. She's a very, very good seller. She's excellent in the ring. I even enjoy her promos. I wish they would let her do her promos in Japanese a little bit more because they hit harder. I remember when she did her promo with Asuka. That was great when she referred to Asuka's sister and Asuka started calling her idiot. And, they were saying it in Japanese, obviously. But yeah, they need to do something with Io. I want Io to walk out of WrestleMania with the world title, whether that's her going in there with it and defending it or them doing some sort of swerve and she gets into the match. Something needs to happen because they pay attention to what people are saying. And it's not just the internet of Io Sky, it's the arena as well. You can see how people react to her. Besides, who would not want that beautiful face with the world title? I mean, let's be real, guys. Let's be real, okay? Not to simp here. I'm just saying.
It was also reported coming out of the Rumble that WWE would be building towards a Rhea Ripley versus Bianca Belair match at Mania. And if this is the concrete creative plan WWE have, then obviously Sky won't be wrestling for the world title at WrestleMania. There also just seems to be...
Why would they do that? Does anyone remember Jade Cargill? Is she still lying on that cot? The obvious WrestleMania match is Jade Cargill versus Bianca with Naomi in Bianca's corner. What? If they do that, I'm going to be like, that is money right there. I want to see Bianca and Jade fight. It's a match made in heaven with Naomi there, like egging it on, I don't know what you do with Rhea Ripley. I still think Rhea versus Io is the match that I want to see at Mania. I would love to see that match. They're both fantastic in the ring. Rhea is obviously much bigger and stronger than her. Io is much faster, much more technical, and I would say a better wrestler overall. But I think that's the match people want to see. This is very, very bizarre.
No hype whatsoever heading into the show of shows. WWE are struggling to move tickets, with just over 40,000 sold for each respective night. The ticket prices are through the roof, and WWE are simply relying on the product being supposedly hot.
Are you insane, WWE? Are you insane? Is that for one person? No. $4,000, $2,000. What do you think people are made of? Are you out of your minds? Hell no. I know they've been talking about WrestleMania coming to London, and over here we're a loud crowd, as I'm sure you guys are aware. There is no chance in hell. No chance in hell. I am paying $1,000. I will not pay $1,000. The most that you will get out of me for WrestleMania is £500. And that better be a good seat. I ain't sitting in the cheap seats for £500. That is an outrageous. Of course they're struggling to sell tickets. You could have The Rock in his prime fighting The Undertaker for every single title on the planet, and I wouldn't show up for £4,000. You must be crazy.
To convince fans to make a once-in-a-lifetime purchase. But this isn't going to happen this year. What WWE needs to do is focus on building a compelling WrestleMania card, and they need to give fans a WrestleMania card that warrants the significant price tag. Currently, WWE are taking the passion and love from the fans for granted, and this could lead to major problems. So what is going on with the product? One of the things that's missing from the WWE product right now is an edge. The hype following the Netflix launch has died down now, and we're now in the midst of a WrestleMania season with not a single compelling story on either respective show.
That's not true. I think what they're building with Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn, That's pretty compelling. They've been fighting each other for ages. We've seen the match many times, but all their matches are cool. I think there's a compelling story being told there. I think Kevin Owens shot a fantastic promo regarding it. Again, he's a heel, but he's a heel that you're like, he's not wrong. He's not wrong. So yeah, I do think that's compelling. Obviously, you feel sorry for Sammy getting caught up in it, but Sammy is kind of in the wrong in this situation, even though he's the face. So that is compelling. You've got Cody and you've got CM Punk. There's something brewing there, but after what happened with Seth Rollins, CM Punk, and Roman Reigns, there's also something there. There's ways that they can spin this, you know. We've got time. I'm still invested. I think this is a bit of doom and gloom on WrestleLamia's part. There's a lot of good talent. There's a lot of good ways to spin this. And, you know, you've got Monday Night Raw, you've got Friday Night SmackDown, you've got Elimination Chamber. Maybe they'll do another Saturday Night's main event. There's going to be things done on social media. They've got time to turn this around.
Cody Rhodes looks set to once again feud with Solo Sikoa. Why WWE have taken this direction is anyone's guess. The feud between the two was without a doubt the weakest part of Rhodes' WWE title reign so far.
He's not going to feud with Solo. I think what's going to happen is Solo is going to feud with Jacob. That's what I think is going to happen. Hear me out. When Solo lost to Roman, or sorry, before he lost to him, he said, if I lose to Roman, I will acknowledge him as my tribal chief. That's what Solo said. I imagine because Roman's not really a face character, even though he's kind of being pushed as a babyface somewhat, he's not really. He is still the tribal chief. The tribal chief of old in some regards, even though he seems to have calmed down on his family. I think Solo was doing the bidding of Roman Reigns. Why would Solo lose to Roman, lose to Ulafalo, lose his championship matches to Cody, say that he would acknowledge Cody as his, acknowledge Roman as his tribal chief, and then go for the WWE Championship over Roman's head? I don't think that's what's happening here. If that is what's happening, I would call into question the intelligence of the people backstage, because you have a coherent story to tell here. He can go back to being the hitman for Roman, and I ain't mad at that. And then obviously, Jacob's going to be like, you know, I love you, Solo. He's going to be like, I hate you, Solo. You ain't my tribal chief no more, and I'm not acknowledging Roman. You can do beef between them. I'd be down for that. You can do tribal combat between these guys without it having to involve Roman Reigns and without it having to involve the Ulafala. That way you give Jacob something to do leading into WrestleMania, and you give Solo something to do. And obviously Jacob goes over, and it propels Jacob to one day take on Roman, and this time someone cleanly beat Roman and take over as a tribal chief. I think that would be a pretty cool storyline, and then have Roman claw his way back up, or whatever they decide to do.
And even though the feud climaxed in a steel cage match, WWE are going back to this again. Who is this feud for? What is the appeal? Wouldn't it make more sense for WWE to have spent the first portion of 2025 building up names such as Carmelo Hayes or Andrade so Rhodes had a credible opponent? It's just nonsensical booking that alienates the audience.
I'm sorry, but listen, I like Andrade and I like Carmelo Hayes, but they're not credible opponents for Cody Rhodes. Come on. Like, talk about someone else, man. You could have put Drew McIntyre in there. He's on SmackDown now. Let's be real, man. WrestleLamia was booking WrestleMania as well, or the lead up to it. I'll tune out. I don't want to see that.
And as a result of the added extra hour on SmackDown, it's greatly suffered by it. Whilst this should have led to more talent getting exposure, this isn't what's happening, and WWE have made the odd move of actively moving talent such as Logan Paul and AJ Styles away from the Blue Brand. The Blue Brand's roster is insanely thin, and they are struggling to present new matches on a weekly basis. It's clear based on Triple H's comments that he believes that 2.5 hours is a sweet spot for a weekly television show. Booking a 3-hour SmackDown with a limited roster is proving to be one of the game's most difficult tasks to date.
I do think they need to shave it down. 3 hours is long. Even for me, I have to break up SmackDown. Raw, I feel like I can get through it, but that extra half an hour, that extra 40 minutes, too much.
One of the main stories coming out of the Royal Rumble focused on Drew McIntyre. McIntyre reportedly stormed out following the match as his elimination spot went wrong, and the former champion wasn't best pleased with the planned idea of working with Damian Priest at WrestleMania.
You know, as we covered, I feel like that. Listen, I'm a Drew fan. I'm a big Drew fan. I think he is one of the best. You could even say he's the best right now in terms of character work. But that situation looked like his fault. I'm just saying, I'm not on the inside. That situation looked like his fault. It looked like him and Damian Priest rushed the spot. LA Knight and Logan were already in the middle of the ring. Just from a viewer, it looked like it was his fault.
With reports calling it a nothing match. Now, although McIntyre did calm down and was fine working with the man he had an issue with at the Rumble, that being LA Knight, McIntyre does have a strong point here. McIntyre was without a doubt the hottest and most compelling character on television in 2024,
True.
And for him to be rewarded with a nothing match with Priest on the grand stage is a bit of a spit in the face. The match won't be anywhere near the main event of either night, and the fans will struggle to care about the match itself. Fans are hoping that WWE pivots, but they're slowly becoming a company that is forced to pivot on every major call.
I think Drew should be fighting Cody in the main event. Cody is one of the people that helped Roman as well, and much like Kevin, Drew McIntyre's been like a hitman. I think it should culminate with him winning the WWE Championship. I think Drew deserves his due, and I think that CM Punk and Seth Rollins and Roman Reigns, I like the idea of a triple threat match. I don't know when everybody became so against triple threat matches, because I remember watching triple threat matches back in the day, like Chris Benoit, Shawn Michaels, and Triple H, and it was fantastic. Brock Lesnar, Seth Rollins, and John Cena, Braun Strowman, Brock Lesnar, and Kane, The Undertaker, Triple H, and Kurt Angle. I don't know when everyone became so against it, but there's a story to tell there of all three of them. CM Punk is connected to the Wise Man. Obviously, the Wise Man is the Wise Man for Roman Reigns. Seth Rollins is connected to Roman Reigns through the Shield. Seth Rollins is connected to CM Punk due to their beef. There's a big connection there, and you can keep that story going with individual matches long into the year. Drew versus Cody, CM Punk versus Roman versus Seth seems like a slam dunk. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. You guys let me know.
As they lack basic understanding of what the fans really want. There have been no other concrete reports on wrestlers being unhappy, but with the WrestleMania main events up in the air, talent being released, and Triple H seemingly making things up as he goes along, there will no doubt be an element of concern and apprehension within the WWE locker room. So has the cockiness backfired? WWE likes to pride themselves on setting records left, right, and center.
I don't think that's cockiness. You're doing good business. You're letting everyone else know you're doing good business. How is that cockiness? That's like a YouTuber saying, hey guys, we just hit 100 subscribers. It's just a milestone you're acknowledging, man. Some people need to relax.
And it's become a trend for WWE to break attendance records, and they like to even brag about setting record gates. Whilst this is all well and good, it shows that the ticket prices, though, are through the roof, and naturally make...
Okay, fair enough. Yeah, no, the ticket prices are insane. They're insane. If you need to cut back on a bit of pyro, I ain't gonna be mad at you. I love the pyro, I love the presentation as of late, but I ain't paying £1,000 to go to WrestleMania. You're absolutely insane.
Making these kinds of announcements, then delivering a mediocre product, as well as releasing names, is a strategy that could soon catch up to WWE in a very negative manner.
True.
The expression WWE is on fire right now is used by WWE themselves. Whilst this may be the case when it comes to attendance and TV deals, right now the same couldn't be said for the fans' faith in the WWE product, and they need to act with urgency to turn things around.
Yeah, I mean, look, not everything's hunky-dory. There's always going to be bumps in the road. Triple H is not perfect. The shows are not perfect, but they're leaps and bounds better than what they were when Vince was there in the closing days. Obviously, no shade on what Vince did, obviously, for the business. It was incredible, but I think people are overreacting a bit. I think Jay was right. Charlotte was wrong. The attendance, the prices for tickets, insane. WrestleMania seems a bit turbulent right now, but a lot of the characters are compelling on the show, so you can steer it in a good way. It's not like you're looking around going, damn, I don't want to see anyone here. That's not the case. I want to see loads of wrestlers at WrestleMania, both in the men's and women's division. So for me, it's not doom and gloom at all. I am very, very confident they're going to turn it around. In terms of selling tickets, though, there's no amount of prestigious names you can bring back to get me to pay that much. So if you're not going to change the ticket prices, then yeah, you might suffer for that. And rightfully so. That's insane. Like, just look at the economy. Where are people getting their money from? £4,000 to sit my ass in the seat and watch people wrestle. And that's not a knock on them. They're incredible. These wrestlers are incredible. Growing up watching them. But I ain't paying $4,000. So you guys let me know what you think about all of that. I'll catch you very soon. Take care and peace.